Salams is a dating app basically for Muslims.
Okay.
And Salams was just purchased by Match Group, which has a pro-Zionist CEO. So basically Salams is cancelled. We're cancelling Salams.
When you go on this app,
Yeah.
is it like mashallah mu'minat, muhsinat, modest ladies? Or is it like
That's a good question.
most people are not aware that the biggest experts in AI are the most scared. The more you learn about AI, the more scared you get. What is the likelihood that humanity becomes extinct due to AI in the next 100 years? And the numbers are not small. In the end of his press release, you know what Governor Abbott says, like about this epic city? He's like, these people have to adhere to state law, not Sharia law. They're being persecuted, and I enjoin the Americans of Texas to hold your governor accountable that he can't just sick the state agencies against Epic for no crime. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillah, we are back. Episode number 3 of the rundown. I think it's looking good. I think
We haven't changed the name yet, though. We should probably do that.
Alhamdulillah, we'll see.
Once it becomes a, you know, like there's sometimes a company has a name and it's just what's stuck.
Yeah.
That's what's
It's
gonna
like,
happen to us.
How was Ramadan for you?
I mean, yeah, I can give the political answer, which is it could have been better.
Definitely. I mean, always
Yeah.
could be better. Alhamdulillah. I think for me there was a lot of highlights from the Masjid, you know, Masjid stories. Alhamdulillah, a lot of us spent a lot more time in the Masjid.
Definitely. Tell me about it.
I mean, well, one of them is actually just a video. Let's start off with that. There's a video that I saw. It's
Okay.
so funny, bro. But it's funny and sad at the same time. So it's this
Okay.
imam that's making dua against one of the musallis that parked in a difficult way and blocked in a bunch of people. So I mean, let's
Whenever
play
my
it.
parents would get mad at me, they would say Allah yahdik. Yani they'd tell me
Yeah.
something nice.
I mean, my parents would say something
Yeah,
different.
but let's
I mean,
hear
like-
this.
May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala not grant them their wishes. Say Ameen. Wallahi, if that's
Say
what it's gonna
Ameen.
take, we'll go for
Ya
it.
Rabb, ya
If
Rabb,
you are
protect.
that person and you have not moved your car, there's an entire line of cars on my left side.
Yeah.
On your right side, on the parking lot, if you have not moved your car yet,
Listen,
may Allah, the tow car can't even come in. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala deprive you of happiness.
that's that
May
thing.
Allah, say Ameen. May Allah deprive
He
you
said
of
say
happiness.
Say Ameen.
May Allah not
I would be
forgive
shy
your
to
sins.
say
May Allah
Ameen.
not forgive
Allah,
your
I did not
sins.
want it to come to this after we had such an enjoyable time and we raised.
Oh my God, subhanallah. I mean, it's funny, but it's sad at the same time because you'd never expect an imam to say that. I don't know who.
But parking has
said-
become kind of like an inside joke in like the Muslim community. Parking is always the issue, right?
Yeah, subhanallah.
So
Which
I
is
mean,
a good thing. It's a good thing that we have a lot of people coming to pray. But
Yeah, but it is like, I think the parking issues, as tired of a subject it is, people, it's kind of a microcosm of, are you a selfless person?
Yeah.
Or are you just, because if you're going to pray and you're in your rush to go worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you go block people, you park where you're not supposed to park. You know, is your prayer going to be accepted?
Yeah.
Do you have the right mindset?
I mean, we always wanna
and honestly,
encourage,
it shows a secularized mindset.
Yes, I mean we always want to. I don't know if we want to go there.
I think
yeah,
so,
with
though.
this.
I think so, because look, tell me,
You're
bro.
always, like.
I'm a desecularization guy. Like,
Alhamdulillah, which
look,
is
I
good,
mean,
yeah.
because like if you only see ibadah as like just this, if this is ibadah for you,
Which is facts,
then
because
and your head is not in the ibadah if you're going and you're blocking people. It's like someone who goes to Hajj and he starts cursing and he does everything bad. Like, yani, okay, are you just the Umar radiallahu anhu said like someone said there's so many hujjaj this year to Umar, and he said there's not many hujjaj, there's many rukkab. Many people, many riders. There are many riders, but very few pilgrims. Because a pilgrim, a abid, a slave of God, is a mindset first and foremost,
has
right?
a specific attitude. Yeah.
Yeah. So this guy, I feel a person who's been burned. I feel his pain.
Yeah,
At the same time, it's a little bit, tragic
May Allah
comic.
not forgive your sins. Like
Say
that's,
Ameen.
That's deadly, bro.
The funniest part, if I can laugh at this, is the say Ameen part.
Yeah.
And I think it's like almost, I saw a comment on that video because I did see that before. He says it's like somebody's shouting in lowercase because he has he has a kind of like gentle, compassionate way of saying the most scary things.
Right, like making dua against someone. I
Yeah.
mean, like these guys, they come in, they park up, they're focused, they just want to, like let's get it done with,
Yeah.
And so I mean, this guy is coming into the masjid. He's just, praying, and then when he's back out, I'm not seeing this guy, but at least some people I know when they're back out in the parking lot, and then it gets back into beefing people in the parking lot and
Yeah.
like cussing people out. It's like it defeats the whole purpose. Like, what's the
Yeah,
purpose,
yeah.
right?
I mean, it shows. I feel like again, maybe they weren't in the mindset to begin with.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, a story that happened with me though was really funny. Is I walk into the masjid. There's two people praying, right?
Okay.
It's two uncles, and they're standing beside each other. And so I go and I tap, you know how we tap
Yeah.
the person beside the lead
Just to kind of come back.
to come back.
Yeah.
Bro, I tapped him at the worst time ever. I tapped him when he was going into ruku'. So
Okay.
he was bowing. And I thought maybe like I'm gonna wait for him until he gets back up and reverses. Guess what he did,
He started walking backwards while he was in record.
bro? He's
Did a crab
he's
walk.
fully in ruku' and bowing, and he starts to walk backwards. And I
Inshallah.
astaghfirullah, bro. Like, to imagine it's just like this reverse motion while you're like, doesn't look good whatsoever. I don't think the uncle thought it through. But like, he's just walking back, and you can just imagine, like, like step by step. And I'm just like, oh my goodness. I was just like waiting for him to finish. I was like, that's wild, Like, he
Yeah.
got up, and then I joined them for prayer. I was like, it wasn't necessary.
Now, if I recall correctly, this actually happened in the seerah.
There's a hadith
Yeah,
about
yeah.
it. Okay.
So a sahabi saw somebody. He did like the kind of crab walk and in the masjid, and
SubhanAllah, yeah.
and so he asked the Prophet sallam, this is something right? Is it something wrong? So the Prophet said, don't do it.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, I mean, don't do it.
Yeah, I mean, that's clear. It doesn't look good. It's not befitting. I would not, this reverse
Well, some things
motion.
aren't as clear to people. It wasn't really clear to me.
Yeah,
I thought it
subhanallah.
was okay, but yeah, the hadith clear.
Worse is when you don't even know what this tap is, and you get tapped and you turn on. You're like, what? Yeah, I've had that happen.
That happened
before,
to you?
Yeah. Subhanallah. But yeah, and then one last story I think
Yeah.
that happened with me was so alhamdulillah, like, it's beautiful to see kids in the masjid, right?
Yeah.
Like, especially like, families and women nowadays. It's it's sad to see some masajid not even welcoming not being welcoming to women. But yeah, so I was in the masjid, and there's these kids running around, and I'm in sujood. Like, you can hear them running around and playing games or whatever.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, like, I'm in sujood, and I just hear these footsteps, no talking, just footsteps beside me, like one on my right ear, one on my left ear. And it's just like shuffling. I'm like, I didn't even know what was happening, right? So I get up from my sujood, and this is the time where I'm gonna get back up, like standing.
Yeah.
All I hear is, "Oh, you ain't going nowhere." Like, and
What?
I'm like, what the hell's happening? So these kids are looking at each other, and they're about to like jump each other, like, they're playing tag or something. I don't know,
Yeah.
but like one of them is not running away, so it's kind of, I don't know, it was weird,
Yeah.
weird game. But they're like looking at it, they're about to like,
They were on a stalemate on either side of you.
That's exactly
Yeah,
what it
yeah.
was. And so I'm getting up, but I don't know if I should get up. Like, I'm like, should I because if I do this, if I get up,
Yeah.
they're gonna go at it, So, but I'm like, but hold on, there's nobody around me. Why didn't they just go around? Why did I become the barrier?
Yeah.
So I got up fully standing, and I was like kind of slow with it. And I realized they just like shuffled a little bit, and then they booked the other way. They went behind me. So they still knew the rules of not crossing. They were old enough to know not to cross.
But you were the imam, or
I was by myself. I was just praying by myself.
so yeah, apparently like you're the imam.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can say that. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
the
yeah,
imam.
yeah,
I know
yeah.
if you're not the imam, you
No,
can
but that's
cross in front.
crazy. Like
Yeah.
you were a hazard in their game.
It was so funny. It was just like they both respected this rule that I'm the barrier, and it was just it was funny though. I didn't know what to do, and I got up, and I'm like, I'm about to laugh.
How old are
astaghfirullah,
they? That sounds like they're not too young.
Well, yeah, I don't know. Maybe like 7, 8, 9. I don't know,
Yeah,
something
yeah.
like that.
Maybe they are, yeah, very young.
Yeah. Alhamdulillah. But yeah, I mean, something that's relevant right now, at least. I don't know how long this news has been out for, but Salams has just been acquired by.
What's Salams?
Salams is a dating app basically for Muslims.
Okay.
It's like Match, Salams. There's a few others. Can't remember their names, but those are the two biggest ones, I guess, we know of. And Salams was just purchased by Match Group, which has a pro-Zionist CEO.
Okay.
They're the owners of Tinder and Flip. What's the other?
There's a few others like Bumble, Hinge.
Hinge.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know.
exactly.
Am I exposing myself? I don't. I promise I
How do
don't
you
use
not know
these
what
apps.
Salams is, but you know what
Well,
Hinge
because
and
these are part of pop
Husn
culture.
al-dhan, guys. Husn al-dhan.
It's part of pop culture. So
Yeah.
you're on Twitter, you hear these names coming around, but
Yeah, true, true. So
I
they're the
don't use
owners.
apps to get
They're the
married.
owners of Tinder
Yeah.
and Hinge, and so they just purchased Salams. But it's wild because the CEO is a pro-Zionist, supporter. He actually, did a campaign to support the IDF soldiers that were going overseas to fight to pay for their rent, which
Wow.
is wild. But I have a few questions. I mean, did you hear about this at all? Like you don't know really much about
I heard
Salams.
about it, but I didn't. I wasn't. I'm like I need to get the information from you. Like,
Look,
are
Salams.
you the expert? Are you a user?
I'm definitely, yeah. I am a user. I have to
User
say.
experience. We're gonna interview. You know, like focus grouping.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So tell me about
Let's
Salams.
focus on this right now, and
He
then.
doesn't want to talk about it.
So, what's it called?
Salams,
Salams, yes.
Zionists.
So basically, Salams is canceled. We're canceling Salams, one because it's owned by obviously a company that's has a pro-Zionist CEO.
Yeah,
All of our information, everything that's valuable.
that's crazy.
and
Like
that's,
they're gonna have all of your DMs with the ladies.
Yeah, imagine they start exposing people.
That's
Which
actually
is,
crazy.
which is
Crazy.
wild. If they do, I'm
That's
sure.
called. There's a word in politics called compromat. You know what that is?
Compromat? No.
Spelled with a K. It's what they use on you to blackmail you, to make sure that you're doing what they want you to do.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
So the idea is basically, they don't let people into the real halls of power, unless they have something to kind of bury you with if you need to be buried.
I mean, I don't think there's really that, there's really that much of a significant kind of like demographic in on those apps. I'm not saying that they're not important people.
No, but like they could become important. Anybody who used who used the app once upon a time and sent some racy messages to people.
Which happens, by the way. There's so many stories. Like,
Yeah.
I've
Tell
heard
me about
stories
it.
from sisters I spoke to.
You spoke on Salams.
Yeah, I've met some.
Why is this
sisters
guy
on
on
Salams.
Salams? Tell me about Salams. First of all, let me ask you a question, because I don't know much
You're
about
trying to
these.
get married nowadays. What's good? Like how?
I'm
what
trying
are
to get
your-
married too.
What are your
but-
methods?
But let me ask you about Salams.
Yeah,
And other marriage apps. It's like when you go on this app,
yeah.
is it like mashallah mu'minat, muhsinat, modest ladies, or is it like
That's a good question.
makeup?
Ain't judging, because I know people are gonna say,
Air.
"Oh, but you don't know what's in their hearts." And,
No. Well,
but,
like this, like for me, here's my dilemma.
yeah,
Like a girl might pretty herself up on these apps.
yeah.
But it means she's looking for a specific kind of man, or she's a specific kind of a specific kind of woman,
yeah.
right? This is my kind of like issue, is like the kind of person I would meet on such an app if I were to use it. I don't know if they're the kind of person I would want.
Yeah, I mean, it depends what you're looking for. There is like a spectrum of,
Well, I'm looking for modest muhsinat.
Yeah, so look, I mean, nowadays it's generally like most sisters, I should say, that are trying to get married don't even use these apps. I feel like there
Yeah.
are a few that are.
But who's the demographic? You have the information.
more-
Who is using these apps?
Generally, I felt like more.
You can be critical.
Yeah, I mean,
We're here to be critical.
I felt like more, liberal, more like,
Yeah.
but that's just generally what you get nowadays in the public, right? The ummah has more liberal-minded people, but I've had very interesting conversations with people, like even just opening their eyes on certain things. But I've noticed for myself, when you're looking for somebody, you want to look for the person, or you're marrying the person that's in front of you. You're not marrying the potential that they can become.
That's true. Very true.
So that's hard to, especially when like beauty gets in the way, and then like then you're like blinded by love, or whatever you call it,
But even like
the
think
lust.
about beauty, like this is the point I was getting at. I'm immediately turned off, even if there's a beautiful woman, if she's not like if she's kind of flaunting her beauty.
Yeah,
Because that's an
facts.
unattractive for me. That's an unattractive trait.
I think for a lot of men, that's 100%. Nobody wants.
So
to,
it's almost like a catch-22.
yeah.
You know
What's
what
a
that means?
catch-22?
It
No.
means like you're screwed either way. Either like let's say you're looking for a beautiful woman.
Yeah.
If she's not flaunting her beauty, you don't know she's beautiful, so you're not gonna get her. If she is
Yeah,
flaunting her beauty, you don't like that character trait, so you're not gonna go
But
for
there
that.
are
It's
some
kind of
girls on there that like basically they're not flaunting their beauty. You can say a few.
a few. So tell us about it.
There are a lot that are.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised. And I don't want to judge, but just based on, how they are.
So
like,
give
based
us
on their profile.
give us the takeaway. Like what, as a user, as somebody who's thought about this stuff.
Yeah.
To be honest, I'm a little bit younger than you, so I haven't really, I don't know, spent as much time trying to get married. But what is your takeaway about these apps? Like, what's your take on these apps? What's your take on Salams?
Well, okay, so there's this one thing that's it's like this illusion, this illusion of many choices. You go on this app and you're, overwhelmed by the amount of choices that you have. Although a lot of them you might not be interested in. But when you do come across somebody that you might need to compromise a little bit for, right? And the compromise here is I'm talking in a good sense. Like it's
like you meet your
basic stuff.
standards.
Yeah, exactly. Like not compromise in the sense of like, you give up your principles.
No. It's like like you're looking for too much. Let's say beauty wise or
Exactly.
whatever
it may
age-wise,
be.
race-wise.
That's what it is. And speaking of, we'll talk about beauty in a second, but generally, like, okay, somebody gives you the ick on one thing and you're just like, okay, I'm out of here, I'll find somebody else.
Yeah, because you can just swipe.
You'll just swipe, you'll just like unmatch whatever, and then you're on to the next person.
Yeah.
Do you end up finding that person though? Because the next person will have also stuff that you'll have to compromise on. So it's like back in the day, it used to be very simple. You're in a small village. You only have a few options, so you just pick from those options. With more options, like I'm a kind of guy that like the more clothes that I have in my closet, the worse or the longer it takes me to actually get ready and like figure out what I want to do. It's like the least that if I have if I have a few items, it makes it so much easier.
I think they call this the curse of choice, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah.
So I noticed that was an issue because people give up on potential long-term partners that were better suited for them for this for the choices, and then they don't end up they're still on the app. Like I've been on and off the app. It's draining, the small talk and I for me personally, and I'm sure a lot of people could vouch for that, whoever I spoke to. But I just cut straight to the point. I'm just like, I don't like small talk. Let's just get certain things out of the way. Like imagine you met somebody and you just got everything out of the way and you just spoke about the big things so that okay, this is worth moving forward for us to have the smaller talk, right? One of my boys, shout out to my boy, I won't name him, but he met someone. I spoke to her for 5 months. She was in a different province. For 5 straight months, long conversations. And the thing is, images are they're never they never do the person justice. Sometimes images, or most times images, are a better looking version of the person, right?
Yeah.
So you end up
falling in love with
the picture, but you could have actually also fell in love with the person, right?
Yeah.
But because you fell in love with the picture, it's like this kind of deception when you end up meeting them, right? And I'll say that straight up for myself. Even me, I look different in pictures, right? Everyone looks different in pictures.
I wonder if you look different in the video.
Probably 100%. But when you meet someone in person, it's real. It's tangible. You can actually obviously don't touch them, but it's tangible. You know what I mean? But and then you get to actually experience that with the person and unpack everything with them.
Yeah.
So my boy was talking to this girl for 5 months, long conversations, hours on the phone, They met in person after 5 months. Didn't work out. Wow. He's drained. He's like, I'm not doing this ever again. I'm like, well, it's your fault. There was no balance, But may Allah make things easy for us.
Did he cut it off or did she cut it off?
Well, I don't know. It was one or the other. It was like they met in person. They're just like, this is not gonna work out. And imagine you've already spoke about so many things. You meet in person. It's kind of like, this is awkward. What are we gonna talk about now? You want to build. That's why when you meet someone, I'm not saying I'm not all for arranged marriages, but when you meet someone and you get to know them, and you unpack things, then you actually the love grows on you. And
you know who's all for arranged marriages?
Who?
Nick Fuentes.
Who's that?
You don't know?
Nick.
He's big political commentator.
Yeah.
Kind of like ethno-national, white nationalist kind of person.
Yeah.
But he had a funny clip. Because, you know, he's like this American white boy.
Yeah.
And he's like, I need an arranged marriage, like a Muslim.
Yeah.
And you know what he said? He's like, I'm not going to go through all this courtship and what do you like and do a whole audition. I just want someone to come and find me a match, give me some options, and I just choose one and we get arranged marriage.
I need an arranged marriage. I've come to the realization, because if I am in this audition, I'm never going to be able to subject myself to that, where I'm like, I gotta keep up the witty banter. I gotta put in all this effort and play this mating game. Oh, he opened the car door for me. Oh, he ordered for me. What a Chad. Oh, he didn't get the waiter's attention. That gave me the ick. I'm never gonna be able to subject myself to that. I'm trying to reel him in. I don't think so. Not like that. I won't do it. Not for someone I don't even know. So it's got to be arranged. There has to be some sort of arrangement.
Like, I think, like,
I mean, but,
even white people, or like even Westerners, let's put it that way, are feeling the pain. Like the dating scene is an exhausting thing, like you just mentioned. I mean, some of the diseases of the dating scene from a Western perspective are coming and hurting us, even though, like, in our tradition things were way simpler.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, this guy, I don't really like him.
Sure, but
I've
I'm just
seen some of
mentioning
his stuff. I don't even like the way he's saying it. You know, it sounds
but like,
oh, like he has you know,
it's an example of, like,
how they feel.
well, usually Muslims feel that our tradition and our way of doing things is, like, outdated, and we're kind of chained to it. But it's liberating, and even it shows that, I mean, like, people who have options, and he's somebody who would have options, would prefer no hassle.
Yeah.
If you could design a Muslim marriage app, how would you make it different?
Oh, hold on. First of all, we didn't even finish with Salams. That's a betrayal to the ummah.
Yeah.
Right? Like, think about, you just sold, I don't want to say you sold your soul, but, like, you sold a platform that was for Muslims to a company that owns Tinder and whatever, which is besides the point, but that has a pro-Zionist CEO. Like,
Wow.
I'm sure you've done your digging. You know what I mean? Like, you're selling a whole company. Was the money worth it? You know what I mean? Like, who would
That's
do that?
crazy.
I don't feel like, it's like, I don't feel comfortable with the idea anymore. You know what I mean? There's still mismatch out here. There's still, I mean, there's a guy that is creating a new app, I think, that's all a whole Palestinian team, and they're not gonna sell it for anything or whatever. So I don't know the name of the app actually, but yeah, like, first of all, I would not sell it. Like, you were asking me if I were to make an app, I would not sell, like, that. They would be for Muslims, right?
Yeah.
So
No, this is ridiculous. And we have let's face it, let's be very frank, we have a declined ummah.
yeah,
And the decline of the ummah and the weakness of the ummah is not random. It comes from this kind of mindset of, like, you would sell your own brothers out. We're not all in this together. And until that changes, like, we're not going to see the change. So this is what needs to happen. When somebody like what just happened with sells, like, this company to the Match Group, Muslims need to put on the pressure. Like, we can't let this person relax.
yeah,
Like, they need to be boycotted.
yeah,
There needs
definitely.
to be a campaign.
No, definitely, guys. If anybody owns Salams, cancel it,
Yeah.
close it,
That's-
shut
but
it down.
that's-
Doesn't matter if you have.
That's the least. This is even less than the least. Like, this person needs to be shamed and named and shamed. We put his picture on Instagram. Everybody should know his face. Everybody should
the
know his
CEO?
name. Whoever's responsible.
Whoever
for
sold it,
sales.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, no.
I don't
Screw
even know.
the CEO. Let him دبر أموره. يعني we don't care about him.
Yeah.
The guy who sold this is a betrayer.
I thought you were gonna say a different word, which I would have agreed with. But yeah, definitely a betrayer.
Well, there's a betrayer. So, like, but this is look. Human beings, Muslims too, we respond to incentives, and the only way that we're going to be able to get ourselves out of this situation is if a Muslim billionaire, millionaire, CEO, professor, leader, scholar feels that they can just sell us out, and we're not going to put pressure, and they can get away with it.
That's wild. Yeah.
Bro, just, like, forget about it. We need to create a situation in which the pressure exercised and felt. These people are named and shamed. You know, you can't get a job in this town anymore. You know that saying?
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
never going to get a job in this town. Because you
Yeah.
burn the Muslims, and no Muslim should give you a job. No Muslim should give you light of day, because you've shown your true colors. And once you create that atmosphere, then you're not going to see this kind of stuff. We're going to, even the bad ones, will stick to their, will stick to the situation.
Were they?
They'll
Yeah,
stick in the right way.
yeah. Were they even Muslim? Maybe if it would be so bad if they weren't even Muslim in the first place, and we just like, yo, we're just like, see that.
That would be worse.
What are the other methods of getting married other than the dating apps? Okay, you can go through the Masjid. You can have your family look for you. You can meet people through school and through work and all
Yeah.
that. But you know, when you're limited on options, then
The thing about the dating app, which has made it so successful, and even in the non-Muslim world, like you can see the graphs of like how people used to get married and how that changed. It used to be like 50% church and then 20% workplace and 30% through friends and family. And then like you see how the graph changes, and it almost all became online, how
Yeah.
people meet their spouses. And like apps is where people can solicit each other safely. You go chat up a girl at the bar, you know, from a Western context, she might now accuse you of harassment and whatever.
yeah.
This is how they experienced it, and like, okay, dating apps, we know what we're coming here for.
Yeah, and that's why we have like mahrams and stuff to protect the woman.
Yeah,
and
so in
protect
Islam,
each other
there's
and
already,
even the men, protect them from
Yeah.
potential, you know, accusations that are not true.
but I think right now in the Muslim community, we've become more disconnected. So like, you don't have kind of a family masjid network, or it's very limited. Some people have it, some people don't, and the people who don't kind of feel need to get to these apps perhaps to find more options or whatever.
If you're pushing 30 or 40, just, you know, there's still options for you. There's still a way to get married, inshallah. Do not resort to, you know, the new AI world and the robots. And I've been seeing a lot of these problematic
Marrying an
things.
AI?
Marrying an AI or like
Yeah.
a robot.
That's going to become possible very soon.
Which is wild.
Like, I mean, I don't know. I'm seeing these
Oh my
AI
God.
videos and like speech, AI video, AI thinking. The robots are coming out, so it's going to be physical too.
I've been seeing
You're
a
gonna
lot.
get
I've
the
been seeing-
whole.
Bro, imagine robots being out here like regularly and like, you know, policing the streets, and there's so many things that
I think people. You know what I think is going to happen? I think people are going to revolt.
revolt
They're
against the
gonna-
robots.
People are going to start abusing these things.
Yeah.
They're just going to see a robot and they're
Oh
going to
yeah, but you see all these
Yeah.
movies. We've already watched a lot of movies.
Terminator.
Yeah, well, there are other movies too where they. What was the one that was Cloud 9 or something? I can't remember the name of it, but it was like District 9 or something.
I've not seen that one.
Something related to District. I think it's that movie. I watched it a
Yeah.
long time ago. But anyways, there are movies where they show like people and robots and how they interact and like.
I've
you
heard of
know,
Westworld. I haven't seen it, but it's like a kind of a theme park with AIs, and you get to abuse them, and then they fought back
It's
and
like
stuff
GTA 5 or
like.
something.
Yeah, like you get to be like real life GTA 5 with robots. Yeah.
But they're gonna come back at us. You know?
Yeah, bro.
That's what's scary.
I just saw a new AI forecast.
Okay.
It's called AI 2027.
Okay. Oh, that's 2 years from now.
Yeah.
Or a
So
year and a
these
bit.
guys, they predict how AI is going to evolve over the next 10 years. And the main guy on this team, so this team has ex OpenAI employees. This team has ex super forecasters from RAND Corporation, or who are ranked the highest by the RAND Corporation. You know what a forecaster is?
Research
These
and
people are
development.
experts at making predictions based on data. And one of the people on the team, he actually made a prediction in 2021. In 2021, he wrote a timeline for the next 6 years in AI, and pretty much all until basically now.
Yeah.
Pretty much all of his predictions ended up coming true.
Okay.
So this guy like has a pulse on this stuff.
He's a dunya prophecies.
Not actually a prophecy, but it's a
Stuff.
prediction, right? It's a prediction. It's based on data.
Yeah.
Most people get it wrong, but he got it right. Okay.
Right.
So what these people are saying in the AI 2027 prediction is that over the next couple of years, AI is going to get to the level of human beings.
Okay. Well, I mean, we're starting to see.
It's
a
not
little bit of
yet.
that, yeah.
It's not yet, but it's going to get to a level where it's like data centers are going to increase. People are going to spend more billions and trillions of dollars on data centers for AIs.
China just did, by the way.
Yeah,
They built
yeah.
one under the water.
Huawei's like doing crazy things.
Yeah.
Like they have these new research facilities. By the way, China's kicking the West's butt
yeah,
on this
100%,
stuff.
yeah.
Like the next generation might be Chinese, like learn Mandarin people, right?
Mm.
So China is going to be in an AI war with the U.S. So these guys predict that due to the ability of AI companies to kind of steal each other's weights. You know what a weight is?
No.
So AI models are trained based on these numbers called weights.
Okay.
So it's just a kind of a simplification for you to
Sure.
help you
Because I'm a simple
understand.
person. Yeah.
To help him understand.
That's fine. Thank you. We
Okay.
understood what you meant.
So
All right.
this is not exactly true, by the way. I just simplified it for you. Okay.
Thank you.
So AIs have weights,
Mm.
and China can steal the weights.
So wait, you still didn't fully explain what it meant. Like I don't want to.
You don't need to. It's a little bit hard for you.
So weights are like they're like.
They're parameters on the AI that kind of like, you know how you have neurons in your brain. So they're not just 1 or 0. Like you can have a specific weight on them. Like how much is this neuron weighted? So the same way the AI works with all of its connections.
Neural network.
I might even be wrong about this because I'm not.
That's fine.
I'm kind of putting him
you
down.
did some research, which is.
I
Great.
did some research. I'm more expert than him, so I'm the expert on AI here.
Mashallah, mashallah.
And I have a degree in computer science, but trust me, that doesn't help me understand this stuff because I haven't studied AI.
So anyways, okay. So there's some weights that could be stolen. So
yeah. So anyway, but the point is that these people project AI between U.S. and China is going to remain near parity. I mean, they're going to stay around the same. They're going to be neck and neck. Okay. There's going to be these big AI companies like OpenAI and Anthropic and XAI. They're going to
Grok AI, whatever.
That's XAI.
Oh, okay.
So somebody's going to scare the American president with what these AIs are going to be capable of. And the American president is not going to exactly nationalize the AI companies, but he's going to put the AI companies into a sort of like defense contractor role. You know, like how you have like Lockheed Martin, Northrop Grumman, like those are private companies, but there's specific security requirements. They have a relationship with the American government. Is the same thing is going to happen with the AI companies. Right now, they're kind of operating in Wild West mode. That's not going to last.
So he's going to basically, instead of privatize, is it privatized?
It's not national. So nationalizing is when the government takes control of a company. That's not going to happen.
So right now they're private companies.
Yeah. So the government will eventually, very soon, according to these guys, sometime in 2026 or 2027, they're gonna enter into kind of a security contractor role. Now, what's gonna happen? You see, in the AI world, there's a battle between the accelerationists and the alignment activists.
You're gonna have to explain.
Yeah. So accelerationists say we need AI to go faster and faster and faster, and just like let the technology loose on the world.
That sounds very dangerous.
It's very dangerous. They call themselves effective accelerationists. They call themselves accelerationists because they think that, the tech might hurt people maybe in the short run, but in the long run, it's going to be better for humanity.
Yeah, but why accelerate? Like, what's the rush?
You know what the singularity is?
No.
So basically, AI is going to become so smart, it's going to consume all the resources in the world, and we're going to be part of its collective conscious.
The hell?
And it's going to simulate us.
This is sounding like that one movie.
It's like the Matrix.
Yeah.
Yeah, but without getting too much into the accelerationists, their weird thinking.
Yeah.
Then there's the alignment people who say we need to make sure before we let loose the dogs of war on AI, we need to make sure the AI has human values.
Yeah. Okay.
We need to make sure the AI is not going to go and like decide we need to turn all human beings into paperclips. Because the AI is not a human. Maybe it decides it's gonna go nuts on us. And that's the premise of The Matrix. It's the premise of Terminator. It's the premise of a lot of these movies, which we grew up on. Anyway,
that's like
what they're saying, what they're predicting. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that's like typical, scary movies where they know they're not supposed to do something, but they still go right into it, and it's like,
like right now, there's two motives. From the AI company's perspective, it's profit.
Yeah.
They're going to accelerate and kind of override the safety guardrails over profit. And actually, Sam Altman, the guy for OpenAI, they tried to do a coup against him at OpenAI. Because the OpenAI... No, this was old news. This is like almost a year old now. But the board had a lot of these alignment people in it. So again, I told you there's two factions in the AI world. This
Yes.
faction was lots
There's
of them were on the
two
board.
madhabs.
Yes, there's two sides, good and evil, whatever you want. So the alignment people tried to get rid of Altman because Altman was like just they felt he was just ignoring the mission of OpenAI to be safe. And so a lot of them left and they founded Anthropic. You know,
Yeah.
these are the cloud people.
Yeah.
Claude. Anyway, so since then, so there's the profit motive, and then there's also the America versus China motive. Because we can be all safe here in America and, you know, make sure the AI is aligned and it's ChatGPT is very friendly and it doesn't teach you how to make meth or anything like that. But if the Chinese just kind of say, no safety, and they go full throttle,
They might pass us.
They might
terms of
pass us.
development, Yeah.
AI is going to be an extremely powerful weapon in cyber warfare. And basically, what these people predict is that, here's another prediction. I know I'm going through a lot of
I
things
have
fast.
one thing that I heard about this.
Go
which-
ahead before I continue the predictions.
It's the it's that someone said, I can't remember who, I watched a video where he said that AI could technically or could at some point create a virus that kills us all, because it's going to be so advanced, understanding everything, putting things
Yeah.
together, that it could potentially make a virus that will kill us all.
There are a lot of AI extinction scenarios that have been devised by this madhab. Because they're very scared about this happening.
Yes,
They've thought about this. They've thought about AI kind of. So I think this might be the most common one, is that like AI decides it needs to eliminate humanity, so it creates a biological weapon. And some people might be like, well, how can like a chat GPT do that? Right? It's on the computer. How's it going to access a lab? But AI can manipulate human beings. Human beings have incentives, so it can kind of speak to human beings. It can negotiate. It can persuade, and stuff like that. It can offer people things. Anyway, like there's all these kinds of doomsday scenarios. What's very interesting is, have you heard of P Doom?
I've heard of P Diddy, but he's in jail.
Well, he's a different kind of doom.
Yeah.
But P Doom, it means probability of doom.
Probability of doom,
Meaning
okay.
in the AI
Like of Armageddon or
of human extinction.
yeah.
So in the AI scene, everybody is expected to like have their own assessment, their prediction of P Doom. What is the likelihood that humanity becomes extinct due to AI in the next 100 years?
Yeah.
And the numbers are not small. Like AI experts, they hover around like 20 to 40% of P Doom. That humans are going to become extinct in the near future due to AI. Some people are like way higher, like they're like in the 90s and the 80s. And some people obviously are like very low. So there's a very famous person part of this madhab. I'm going to use like this, the alignment people, Eliezer Yudkowsky. I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name right, but he's like saying like P Doom is like khalas, it's like 100% almost. Like people we're past the point of no return. And then there's people who think he's crazy, but it's interesting to see the debate that's happening right now. Most people are not aware of the debate. Most people are not aware that AI people, the biggest experts in AI, are the most scared.
Yeah.
The more you learn about AI, the more scared you get.
Everyone is just living their life and
Yeah, they're not. There's now new ChatGPT version. Very nice. I get to do Studio Ghibli. Hey, I look like an anime person. But it's a little bit more scary than that. So another prediction is that I think they said by 2027, this is why they made it AI 2027, if I'm not mistaken, is that something special is going to happen, which is that AI is going to get smart enough that it's going to be able to speed up AI research. So it's going to have this very smart AI who can do better AI research than the human being. So it's going to create a better AI researcher than itself, and you're going to have
multiplication.
you're going to have exponential hockey stick. Boom! They call it foom.
Which makes sense.
The scientific word for it is foom.
Foom?
Yeah, I think FWOOM.
Okay.
This is the foom scenario. This basically, things are just gonna go. The world is gonna change in like a year.
From 0 to 100, like
Yeah. The
like
world is gonna
nothing,
become unrecognizable. You're gonna have thousands of copies of AIs which are ultra super intelligent, way smarter than human beings, and they're gonna seize the economy. The economy is gonna become AI dependent. The AI is gonna run the economy. The AI is gonna run the government. And you're going to have a few technocrats you're going to have a form of techno-feudalism, a few government, politician, and tech oligarchs who basically run the world. This is the prediction. This is the prediction.
That's wild.
Why it might happen, and this is, by the way, over the next decade only.
You know what this actually reminds me of, which is very like scary, but the world is moving already in a direction of control with the surveillance state. Like I went to the UK recently, and bro, it's my first time in the UK. Cameras everywhere.
Yeah, it's one of the most surveillance cameras per square mile or whatever.
It's wild.
Per capita.
It's wild, and but I was told even with all the cameras, people commit crimes and stabbings and the phone, stealing the phones. You probably heard of that in London or whatever.
Yeah.
But they still don't get caught. But anyways, the point besides the point. Like there's still a lot of cameras, so it's surveillance state. There's like social credit systems, where in some areas, I mean, I think in Dubai or something, that the camera catches you if you're not wearing your seatbelt or if you're on the phone, it actually detects you. And then like if you jaywalk, you lose points in like China. I don't know if it's China or like
China has a social credit system. Yeah, this is known.
Bro, it's wild. So we're already moving in that direction. But recently I heard that there are these 30-minute cities that are being created. Wild.
What does
so
that
you probably
mean?
don't know what that means. Yeah. So let me explain. I don't know much about it either, but hopefully I can explain it a little bit. It's the idea is that they're gonna use the climate change. They're gonna use the climate crisis to fool everybody into having to. Well, actually, they're going to sell this vision or sell this, mission, you can say, of creating 30-minute cities where it's self-sustaining. You can have your own, you'll have your own agriculture there, your own farming, your own, kind of like support yourselves with all of the resources within that area, the 30-minute cities, right? And it will become a means of like saving the planet, but in reality, it's creating more control. This reminds me of a movie called In Time or it's with Justin Timberlake and whatever. He's the main guy.
Yeah.
And it's basically like there are these cities, and it goes from the poorest to the richest. And to get into the next city, you have to. So basically, they have a time. They have like 1 year, I believe. That's on their. That's on their wrist.
Printed on the wrist.
Yeah, on their forearm, you can say.
Yeah.
And it stays 1 year up until you're 18. Once you hit 18, your time starts ticking. Once you reach 0, you die. And then the time is the currency, right? So they give each other the time or they get paid by time and whatever. And you can see how some people have millions of years, the rich people, right? And then some people have, like, literally there are some in the poorest places where they're living day by day, paycheck by paycheck. So every day they get 24 hours. When they work 12 hours,
That's a good
they
allegory.
they get topped up another 12 hours. So they come back the next day with another 24 hours. So they're constantly just in that like day by day, just being a worker, right? It is a good analogy or a good.
It makes communism seem a bunch more appealing.
Yeah.
Not that that's the solution, of course. This is the fault of capitalism, but
It's like
Yani Islam, if you don't have a job in Islam, you get zakat. You're not gonna be left to just die.
The government takes care of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
We
Even the widow and
we invented the welfare state.
Yeah, alhamdulillah. Yeah.
Well,
I
Allah
think
subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Bayt-
We didn't invent it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed it.
Right. That's the Bayt al-Mal, right? Where
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Zakat, Bayt al-Mal.
Yeah. So even the widow and all that. is
Yeah,
taken
yeah,
care
yeah.
of.
Even unemployed people who are not making ends meet.
Yeah, so it does remind me of that movie where they're stuck in those cities, and to get out, they have to pay a certain amount of like. So the first city to go from the first to the second, it's like like a month. Second to third is like 3 months. Third to fourth, whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it gets to a point where you have to pay a year. You have to pay like a few years, whatever. And then like the whole point of the movie is that they they resist the system, and they give time back to the people and fix the system.
Sounds like a very communist movie.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what it sounds like. I mean, that's the problem when you have two dominant ideas in the world. It's like either communism or capitalism, which is another whole topic on its own. It's interesting to know that religions they're not on the same playing field as these ideas, because these ideas are holistic systems, right?
Yeah, but
Except
people
they
don't
miss
think
the-
about Islam on this playing field, even though it is.
That's what it is. That's what I was
Yeah.
gonna say. It's the only actually it's the only system outside of those two,
Yeah.
and that is not considered a religion like the others, which is void of a systemic kind of like structure, or you
Yeah,
could say
well, it's devoid of like a way to kind of exist as a society, like as a system, as you
exactly,
mentioned.
because other religions don't really
Yeah,
have
like
that, right?
other religions are like a personal opt-in basis. Like, here's a personal code. Here's like, a spiritual way to engage with God.
Which Islam has, but it has
It does have
everything. It
that,
has like
but then yeah, exactly. It has prescriptions for the rest of life.
yeah, yeah.
Like what is legal, what is illegal, how do we exist as humanity, who has the right to legislate, who is the king, who's in charge, who gets to be in charge,
Right,
who
right.
are the authorities in life. This Allah answers all these questions.
My whole point with this is that we're already moving in that direction.
Yeah.
So this is not hard to see that AI can easily actually,
Yeah.
take over.
Speaking of new cities, have you heard about the Epic City in Texas?
That's the one where they're doing Sharia, right? Or something,
No, no, no,
something
no,
along
no.
those lines.
This is the propaganda against them, man.
I've been seeing a lot
You
of
can't
pictures.
trust you can't trust Governor Abbott.
Who's that?
So I'll tell you the story.
Yeah.
So Yasser Qadi has a Islamic center called Epic. I don't know if he owns it, but he's one of the key figures. They have a big community, big and rich community. MashaAllah, American Muslims. Yeah, you gotta hand it to them. They got the cashola, right? So they had this big project, and I saw it earlier in the year. They're gonna have Epic City, which is gonna have like 1,000 multifamily homes, schools, masajid
This is a
for
good idea.
Muslims. For
It's a good
Muslims,
idea,
yeah. I thought it was like pretty interesting.
But they're not trying to like okay, because I know in also because I know Miftah Institute.
Yeah.
Great, they're doing great work in Michigan. They also, if I'm not mistaken, wanted. I can't remember if they wanted to or if we just spoke about it and they we were saying it's like a good idea. Some of their students like we were there discussing it.
Yeah.
But basically, I think a lot of Muslims are thinking the same idea of creating
Yeah, like let's
communities that-
let's build our community, let's come together, and because we talk about it all the time. What we talk about all the time is that like us living with non-Islamic influences has taken our kids away from Islam. They've not felt Islamic community. So let's kind of surround ourselves with like-minded people.
Yeah.
It's a nice idea. They had Epic City and they had Epic Ranches. Like ranchers, like Texas ranchers. You know what a ranch is, right?
It's like a farm, right?
It's like a farm with cattle and stuff
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
So they're gonna
Horses.
be epic ranches for Muslims.
Yeah, I mean that's
Yeehaw, you
that's
know.
a good idea. American.
He has some Muslim Americans. So anyway, when I saw the project on earlier in the year, I felt that there might be a reaction. And the reason why is because people who understand American culture or American attitudes towards Islam, especially the South. Texas is a Republican state. There's lots of irrational fear of Muslims. Let me put this into perspective. Muslims are like 1% of America.
Yeah.
1%, one measly percent. In France, they're like 10 to 15%. In Britain, they're like 10%. Canada is also very few Muslims as compared to Europe. So America, which has very few Muslims, there are Americans who genuinely believe, or at least they claim to believe, that Muslims want to implement Sharia.
They want to take over.
Yeah, they
wanna-
have this term. Have you heard creeping Sharia?
No.
Creeping. You've not heard them use the word creeping Sharia?
No.
So creeping Sharia is Muslims who are taking positions in society, in American society, and they're stealthily trying to bring in the Sharia.
These Arabian peninsulas.
Yeah.
How dare they bring the Sharia?
Camel jockeys. I don't know if I can say that. Is it like the N word where you can say it if you're the guy?
Camel jockeys? No, I think sand. They'll say
Sand that, yeah, sand
the word.
whatever's.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not something that we're alien to since 9/11, right? Since 9/11, there was a strong reaction against that to an extent, which is understandable, right? Like this is something that kind of came into their world, not that, anyway, but this it's irrational. Like these guys We know these guys. We know Yasser Qadi. He's like, I'm an American, and
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, we just
Amar
need we
Sulaiman,
Muslims. Yeah, like these are
these
like
are-
we criticize them for being too liberal.
yeah.
So it goes to show on one hand that there's no such thing as being, um, let's say, liberal enough
For the
or
for the Westerners,
for
yeah.
the Westerners. Whatever wherever you go, however much you try to please, there are going to be irrational elements
Yeah.
of the West
Yeah.
who are always going to see you as a Muslim if you claim Islam. Even this ex-Muslim murtad who drove through crowds in Germany during the Christmas.
A'udhu billah,
You
yeah.
remember this?
Not really.
So there was a guy, yani he's ex-Muslim for a long time.
Yeah.
And he wrote very mean things about Islam, and he drove through a crowd in Christmas, and I think he either killed himself or he was gunned down. And you know what these same types, these counter Sharia types or creeping Sharia types, they're like, this guy is a secret Muslim. Oh, that's why he did it.
Yeah, they want.
Does it? You can even be
They wanna
murtad, and they'll still claim it.
Yeah, they want to put anything.
He was doing taqiyya.
Taqiyya.
You know what taqiyya is?
Yeah, lying basically.
Not taqiyya, taqiyya.
Yeah, yeah.
That's how they say it. Taqiyya, bro. So yeah, and they accuse like, and these are the same. Like, I'm just trying to get you into the headset and the
Yeah.
mindset.
Yeah.
These are the people who say Barack Hussein Obama.
Yeah.
This was the Republicans. Barack Hussein, he's a secret Muslim. You know, they would say, we live in such a messed up country where veterans sleep on the streets and a Muslim sleeps in the White House.
This was what Obama
Yeah.
did.
I find that a funny joke.
Stupid, yeah.
You know,
I mean, they
but this is again, like, you know, not all Americans are like this.
Yeah.
But it's politically opportunistic, I think, that Governor Abbott of Texas is is exploiting these fears of Muslims that maybe some people in America have to kind of seem strong on American values or Western values. Even though, let's be very frank, what are American values? American values are freedom of expression, freedom of religion, freedom of assembly. You know, if you're going to shoot down this project, you know, he called 12 state agencies to investigate Epic for criminal activities.
Yeah. Good luck with that.
Bro, like, this is serious.
Yeah.
Like, there's no stated crime. There's no suspicion of crime. In the end of his press release, you know what Governor Abbott says, like, about this Epic City? He's like,
does he say?
these people have to adhere to state law, not Sharia law. Like, where are these?
But
Again,
are they trying to?
no.
Oh.
No, but and even me saying no, there's probably 10 people in the comments saying Takia.
Yeah.
This is the mindset, my friend.
Yeah.
So again, and I think Governor Abbott is smarter than that. I think he's he's exploiting a specific ignorance that exists in his society.
Yeah. Yeah.
To kind of again use Muslims as a scapegoat. I don't know. He has some campaign issues. He has some electoral issues. And he needs a distraction.
He needs the votes, I guess.
He needs the votes. He needs to show he's strong. He needs to distract. He needs to rally the base. Whatever he's trying to do, and it's very devious for him to try to use a tiny Muslim minority. Tiny minority. How many Muslims in Texas, bro? Even most of the Muslims, they're concentrated on the coasts.
Is it because they want Muslims to assimilate to the? Because like I can see how they feel threatened. Like, oh, these guys are taking over land that's free for anybody to be there, and like,
Again, they're tiny minority. This is Epic Cities. The city it's gonna maybe have. It's gonna be like a village, more like.
Yeah.
Second of all, what's wrong with the housing project?
Yeah.
Like, people buy housing projects all the time.
I don't see an issue with it. I mean, like, even you think about it, if Jews did the same thing, which they do. There's a lot of.
There are
cities- there's a
neighborhoods
lot
that
of
are Jew neighborhoods,
Exactly.
and there are neighborhoods that are
hospitals-
Christian.
Hold up.
Yeah,
Slow down. Hospitals
Yeah.
that are only for Jews.
interesting. I've never heard of this before.
It's in Montreal. You go to Montreal. I
Yeah.
was there some time ago, and there was a hospital just for Jews.
And I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, like they
Like, I don't. And you know what would be interesting? Actually, let's compare this situation with how an Islamic system would work.
Yeah. By the way, nobody like this guy, whatever his name is, the governor,
Yeah.
would not have an issue if Jews wanted to do the same.
Of course not. Of course, again,
Then
this
it's
is
anti-Semitic.
it's about
But for us,
scapegoating
it's
Muslims.
like,
Yeah, yeah. Like the Muslims are easy scapegoat because we don't really have much sway
Yeah.
among the elites.
Yeah.
Even though I've heard some really stupid things this week.
Like
Some
what?
people claiming like Muslims run the government. They claim what is it? Muslims run Hollywood apparently.
Well, there's a lot of conversation going on about Israel today. That's for sure.
All bull. All 100% Muslim Brotherhood bull. That's who controls our media, not the Jews. The Muslim Brotherhood controls our media.
In an Islamic system, we have a concept of Ahl al-Dhimma, which is minorities are allowed to, first of all, coexist, or like have their own communities. They're allowed to have their own customs, even though Islam might prohibit them. Like Islam prohibits pork, but not for Christians. If Christians want to have a community and they trade pork with themselves and they have their own religious practices, this is allowed. All of this is allowed because Islam believes in itself so much that we don't coerce people to adopting our values.
Yeah.
We put our values on display and we say, hey, you like this? We know you're going to love it.
Yeah.
So, come if you want, but if you don't want, here's a tax, that you pay. And, Muslims also pay a tax that you don't have to pay, the zakat.
Yeah.
You pay a tax. And you get to have all these amenities,
And we
all
protect-
these
and
rights.
we protect you. and
You're
we
not,
take
you're
care of
not,
your-
yeah, and you're not obligated to be part of the army. Muslims are, but you're not. And, you get protected and you get to have your own values and your own community, your own way of life.
Yeah. Your own courts.
But yeah, your own courts.
Yeah.
Well, imagine, if Muslims were allowed half of this, the West could not tolerate that.
Yeah.
And for that reason, I would definitely argue that Islam is way more tolerant and diverse
Yeah. I mean, like you think
than
about
the West
You think about
in
the-
any substantive way of looking at it. Sorry, go
Right.
ahead.
Sorry to cut you off. You think about the Coptic Christians and how they lost, how they survived and that Christianity survived in Egypt, for example.
Well, even Jews in the Muslim world,
Yeah, they're
the Jews lived in the Muslim world for centuries, and they actually came to the Muslim world to seek refuge from pogroms, and eventually, of course, the Holocaust in Europe, because Europe has been a tradition of Jew hatred,
Yeah.
and Muslims. They lived in Al-Andalus, they lived in Iraq, they lived in different aspects of the Muslim world. There are many famous Jewish figures like the Rambam, the Rambam.
no.
I think he was the one who was Salah ad-Din's doctor. But he was also a huge rabbi. Like,
Yeah.
most Jews would know the Rambam.
I mean, speaking of Salahuddin
And these people were, by the way, like they went through they were existing in the Islamic system and they were fully free to do to practice their religion.
right. Speaking of Salahuddin and Al-Aqsa, I think initially they were kicked out of Jerusalem, and when Umar ibn al-Khattab
Yeah.
conquered it, he basically brought them back,
Mm.
and he allowed them to build the synagogues and to have a place to stay and
Yeah, like
to belong again.
and anybody who understands world history knows that classically speaking, pre-Israel, pre the Zionist entity, Islam, the Khilafah has always been a safe haven for the Jews.
Yeah. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah. And today is a different story. What happened? How that was not really repaid, in terms of because Europe is the one that genocided them. Europe genocided them, and then
we're
the
paying the
genocide
price.
now is happening against the Palestinians.
We're paying the price for it now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and then it always it goes to the spoils of what is it? It's like everything. The history is written by the victor. Like the winners of the war get to decide what to do. So the West won World War II. They got to drop, or the West won World War I because this is when it started.
Yeah.
They got to drop the map.
Yeah. Subhanallah.
So may Allah help the people of Epic. They're epic people, epic Muslims.
I mean,
I think they're being persecuted, straight up, and I enjoin the Americans of Texas, Texans, real Texans, freedom-loving Texans, to give a reprieve to the people of Epic, and to hold your governor accountable that he can't just sick the state agencies against Epic for no crime. Investigate them. Financial.
I think it's anti-Semitic.
It is. It is. We're Semites.
That's what it is.
It's anti-Semitism, plain and simple. So may Allah help them, and I wish the best for them. And I hope it's not a sign of more things to come in terms of persecution against Muslims. And it very well might be. And we need to be ready for that. We need to be ready for, are we going to be able to protect our interests and like really have deep conversations with non-Muslims in the West, and on the one hand, help reassure them that like, we're not here to change your way of life.
Mm-hmm.
We're just here to protect our own way of life in our own communities.
Right.
You know, we're here to leave you alone. Just leave our religion alone.
Right.
That's it. Like we're not asking too much here.
100%. Subhanallah. So that's a wrap for episode 3. We will be back next week, inshallah, with episode 4.
Inshallah.
We're not gonna keep episoding it, but now it's the beginning. It's the
I
start.
don't even remember if this is episode 3. Is it episode 3?
This is episode 3. Yeah.
Okay, I'm losing my index. Anyway,
Anyways, we'll come with
Assalamu
the
alaikum.
next episode next
We'll
week.
see you
Wa
guys.
alaikum assalam wa
Assalamu
rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. There you go.